Welcome to Birth Your Vision podcast, where aspiring entrepreneurs are invited to join us on a journey of inspiration. I'm your host, Hannah Kukuli, and we are thrilled to embark on this empowering journey with you. We provide coaching sessions and engage in hot seats experiences, empowering individuals to gain clarity in bringing their business visions to life. As an additional layer of support, we extend personalized one-to-one roadmap sessions, ensuring each entrepreneur receives tailored guidance on their unique path to success, and also live interviews, tailored guidance from successful businesswomen and men to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs to birth their vision. So join us on this insightful conversations and hands-on support to turn your entrepreneurial journey and dreams to reality. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Birth Your Vision podcast. Today, I am so excited to welcome an amazing guest to this wonderful aspiring episode. And today is the wonderful Yetunde Animashaun. She is actually a tech professional, UX researcher, and the founder of Tech 432, which is actually a non-profit dedicated to empowering young people from underrepresented backgrounds to break into tech industry. And so with over 7 years of experience in technology, content design, and business analyst, she has actually combined expertise in psychology and behavioral economics to create user-centered solutions. So welcome to the wonderful Yetunde. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And, you know, it's going to be amazing because we're going to be talking about the challenges that you've actually had to overcome and also the impact that you've actually made in tech industry. So if you are looking for inspiration today, you know, all the listeners who are looking to birth their vision, then Yetunde is definitely someone to listen to. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Yetunde. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It's a pleasure to be here.
I am so excited to have you. Sorry for my tongue twisting there. It happens. Absolutely. Thank you so much. How was your day today?
Today's been good. I always love Fridays because it's the end of the week. So I'm excited about that. Ready to relax this weekend.
Absolutely. I love Fridays as well. Definitely one of my favorite days of the week. Looking forward to the weekend, which is incredible. So thank you so much for being part of today's show and for also being a guest. And also, I just wanted to basically, talk about your journey and explore it a little bit more. I know that you are a tech professional and also you have experience over 7 years. You've birthed your vision, which is the tech wonderful industry that you've actually given birth to help young people. And so just before we dive in, there is a very fun fact question just to keep you relaxed. The question is, what is the one thing that you feel most called to create or even change in the world?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. The first thing that's like screams or comes to mind is impacting young underrepresented groups, particularly young Black boys as well.
Yeah.
Everything that I've done, like whether it's been either mentoring in the area or my younger brother, it's always been with young boys or young people and just seeing that they have a future. And recognizing that future and empowering them, it's something that I feel like I'm called to do. So yeah, I'd say that would be the one thing I feel I'm called to do.
Fantastic. That sounds amazing. Definitely, we can see the work that you've been doing within your social enterprise. And so, you know, the birthing, let's talk about the birthing of Tech 432. So can you take us back to the moment when you first envisioned Tech 432? You know, what inspired you to start this social enterprise and how did you bring that vision to life?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question again, because when I think about my story and the why behind Tech 432, I just think about my past experiences. So how I grew up. So I grew up in a council estate. We were really poor, like it was like a low income background. Our parents would work a number of jobs just to like feed us and provide us opportunities. So I saw how firsthand, like how challenging it was from a social mobility perspective.
Yes.
And I also saw that within my council estate that we would have like young people just veer off into other sort of lifestyles. And at the time, no one was really pursuing the route in like corporate spaces. It was kind of like you finished school and then that was it. So I think that was one of the things that I would see as a young person. Like I wanted to be in this corporate space, but I didn't have many role models or people around me that could help me with navigating that.
Mm-hmm.
As well as that, as mentioned, I've got four other siblings, and I'd see with my brothers especially how there were challenges with opportunities and like finding roles with them, despite like their educational background was a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I just started realizing that for people who like me have grown up in like underrepresented groups, from a social mobility perspective, like there are challenges there. I just thought like, what can I do to help people like me in that same situation? And what kind of started was mentoring like my younger brother. I'd take him to the library over the weekends instead of us chilling in the estate, which wasn't ever
Yeah.
good. And then after that, I started mentoring another young boy within my area as well. And it was just like, how can I help him? He had behavioral challenges. So I take him to go to museums and just take him out of the normal environment that he's in. Um,
Mm.
and then as I got older as well, I started realizing that, yes, oh, I've made it into the corporate space. I'm able to work in a big tech firm, but other people behind me aren't able or haven't yet found their opportunity to work in these spaces. And then as I was doing digging, so my background is in like research and things like that. So I was looking at the stats, and with the name actually Tech 432, what it just shows is the four shows that unfortunately for young black men, they're 4 times more likely to be unemployed in the UK. The three represents that despite black graduates having the same educational background, it's 3 times harder for black graduates to secure graduate opportunities. Yeah, after graduating. And then
Yeah.
within the tech space itself, black women only make up 2% of the tech workforce. So that kind of like inspired me to create something to challenge those stats and in a way find a way to mitigate those stats. So
Mm.
I started doing workshops within my organization where we worked with unemployed and those not in education. We did workshops where it's upskilling them about specific topics around like if it's tech or employability skills, career coaching. It started very much within my organization. And then over the last few years, I decided to formalize it and create Tech 432 to directly challenge those stats, to empower young underrepresented groups to pursue careers in any desired industry as well. So that kind of was like the vision. I hope I explained that okay.
I absolutely love it. The passion, the dedication, and the whole building of community, bringing young people together, and also really finding out what is their passion, what do they love to do, and you being the voice, the advocate for them. I am so inspired by you. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really truly inspiring for those who are watching who want to get into tech. And looking at you as a young person who has actually been through that journey is just incredible. So we commend you and we salute you, and we definitely give you your flowers for sure. So well done to you. So your journey into tech, it's sort of over 7 years within that tech industry. So how did you kind of navigate your own career pathway? Were there any sort of pivotal moments that shaped that journey as a UX researcher and business analyst?
Yeah. So my journey, I would say it doesn't follow the traditional path. So
Okay.
I studied economics initially, and then in my head it was like, let me get into finance or some way in which I can make money and then just like leave my old lifestyle behind and become rich and whatnot. That was the aim. I was like, let me make money, get out of
Yeah.
there. But it didn't work out like that. So I studied economics and then I joined a firm and I felt like it wasn't as challenging for me. So I was like, okay, I don't have another job lined up. And my parents would be like, oh, what are you doing without a job? Like, get a job. So I was like, let me do a master's or something just for a year
Mm.
while I figure out where I go next, because I
Yeah.
wasn't enjoying my first role after graduating.
Mm.
And So I did that master's, and master's was in behavioral economics. And what I love about behavioral economics, it combines psychology with economics. So you
Yes.
kind of get to understand how people interact with, like, or how they make decisions, whether decisions are rational or not, like the whole behavior behind economics.
Yeah.
And I did that for a year, and it was incredible because I was like, okay, I'm loving what I'm learning here. But yeah, I
Mm.
still didn't know what career path I wanted to get into. I was just still so stuck. I just didn't know. But
Yes.
during that master's program, what they did is we were able to use a programming language,
Okay.
just statistical analysis. So we were
Right.
able to use that language, so and understand how people make decisions. And
Mm.
it was really interesting for me. I was like, oh, I've never learned anything around programming and languages. What is this? And that kind of spiked my interest within tech. I was like, okay, we can use this language to tell a
Yes.
story or to tell stats. Um, and then I started doing some digging, and I came across a graduate program in Accenture.
Mm.
And I just applied. It was like a women's insight day, and I was like, okay, let me apply for this, see what it's like. And then I managed to fall in love with the company itself.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it was a really good, yeah, it was just like a really good start into tech. Like I really enjoyed what they did. I would analyze the work that they were doing, and
Mm.
they would use video analytics, or one of the projects that they worked on was using video analytics to
Yeah.
predict criminal activity. And I was
Oh,
like, this
wow.
is fascinating. Technology is like
Yeah,
immense. Like, there's so much behind technology. Um,
absolutely.
so it wasn't a traditional path. So I didn't study any engineering or anything like that, software engineering. That wasn't my path. It was economics. But
Hmm.
I finally found my feet in an area um, that I really have interest in. So
Okay.
within UX research is where I found my feet. And for anyone that doesn't know what the UX research is, it's user experience research. So we speak to users to understand any challenges, any pain points they have, and how they interact with a product or service. So, like, think of you using the Instagram app. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Any challenges? Does it crash? We want to
Mm-hmm.
understand the user's point of view when engaging in a product or service. Um, and I think for me, it took a long time to find my feet within technology. I
Yes.
didn't think there was a role for me that existed like that.
Yeah.
And I faced a lot of imposter syndrome as well, where
Wow.
I just didn't feel like I had the skills or the
Mm.
tools to be in the room or to make an impact in
Right.
the room or to be a successful person in tech. I felt like I very much had soft skills rather than the hard skills of,
Absolutely.
coding languages.
Yeah.
Um, But then it just clicked with user experience research, and it was one particular project. So that was a pivotal moment for me. I worked on a project with a public health client,
Right.
and at the time, certain community groups were disproportionately affected by COVID. And because of that, we were doing some research, user experience research, to understand why these community groups were disproportionately affected and understand
Right.
any products or tools that we could create to help with interacting
Mm.
with like a management system to ensure that we could reduce the rate of
Yeah.
transmission at the time. So that was a pivotal moment because it felt like I was making impact within tech, and I
Yes,
had the skills
absolutely.
to talk to people and understand their user experience. So yeah, that was a really pivotal moment for me, and it made me realize that yes, I can work in tech and I could build a successful career in tech.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, just hearing that just makes the hair on my body rise because you're so determined, you're so confident, you're somebody that perseveres. You said you went through imposter syndrome, but you still
Mm.
overcame that. And that's really just amazing. And, this brings me to challenges and breakthroughs. So, breaking into tech definitely can be
Mm.
very daunting. You've said one or two things there, especially
Mm.
for underrepresented groups. So, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced and how did you
Mm.
overcome them? If you can just share one with us, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure. So, the one that I would share is probably I think there's a few, but I think I'll tie them all into one. It was
Yeah.
around like, opportunities, mentorship, and lack of resources. So
Mm.
often you feel like you need to have like certifications
Hmm.
or some form of formal education to feel like you can succeed in tech.
Yeah.
I didn't have many financial resources to pursue those careers. I didn't even have enough resources to say like, oh, if I didn't like the current path that I'm on, I'm going to switch and change. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't a thing for me. I just the choices I made, I had to very much stick through it. So I
Yes.
think lack of access to opportunities to try different things, um, opportunities to get certified was something that was a barrier for me. And even seeing people that look like me or role models, I just didn't think tech would be like I didn't see many black women within tech. So I think
Yeah.
that was a challenge as well.
Mm, definitely. And do you think that that's changing at this moment in terms of more underrepresented groups, such as women, young people who are interested in tech? How far do you think we've come in terms of, that recognition?
Yeah. So I
Mm,
think we've come quite a long way. I would
yeah.
say when I started about 7 years ago, honestly, I did not see many underrepresented groups within
Yeah.
tech. Even as you
Mm,
get through the career ladder as well, I wouldn't see many people that look like me, like go like have their careers long standing. And
yeah.
so I feel like it has come a long way. There's still ways to go, but I love how there's
Absolutely.
things like coding black females,
Mm,
motives. There's people like
yeah.
STEM Babe that's just reducing those barriers to entry
Yeah.
and knowing how you can get into tech. I even love how even in like TikTok or social media, people are um, portraying tech in a different way, which means that it looks more accessible for our communities to pursue it as a career.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing more role models that exist, you know. So I think
Mm.
that has been a real positive that I've seen in the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Amazing. That's incredible. So there is a little bit of shift, and we just have to keep, making noise about it and using our voice and amplifying our voice. So what you're doing is definitely doing that as well, which is awesome. So, in terms of the power that you have, in terms of having this wonderful experience of US research, you are a researcher, and you obviously specialize in US research. And also, I just want to know a little bit more. How do you actually use these skills to create a meaningful user-centered solution? And why is this approach so crucial in today's technology landscape?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I
Yeah.
think we don't realize how impactful user experience is and
Hmm.
how much it impacts not just the products we use, but the whole tech landscape. And one way in which I love to demonstrate how important UX research is or user-centered solutions are is
Mm.
the example of hand wash system. So one company, I can't remember the name, but they created a hand wash dispenser
Right.
and this dispenser couldn't detect dark skin. And if they'd done more user research and spoke to like a variety of users, they would have understood that dark skin
Mm.
absorbs more light, so the device would be able to work. Like if they had a device that was able um, to almost recognize dark skin, light
Mm.
skin, or diverse skin tones, essentially,
Yeah.
then that wouldn't have happened. So there was a big like there's all it was in the media around how terrible this is that they didn't do research to understand the differences in skin tones. And I
Mm.
think why I share that example is because as a user-centered person, you're putting the user at the forefront of everything that you're building. It's not
Correct.
necessarily what a user wants, it's what they need in the product.
Yeah.
How can you create a product that doesn't dispense for different skin tones, like, and you need it for hand hygiene? Like it doesn't make sense. So
It's
being
true.
user-centered design is recognizing user needs. So you're speaking to
Mm.
users, understanding their challenges or pain points, understanding it from an accessibility perspective.
Yes.
There's neurodiversion, like we speak to different users to understand how they would interact with a product or service. What
Mm.
are their user needs? And often when we are speaking or working with clients, they have like maybe a preconceived idea of what they want the product to look like. But
Okay.
it's only in speaking to users can you understand exactly how the product should be built to ensure it's fit for purpose and meets those standards as well. Um, why I say it's important is the risk of not doing user research is far
Mm,
too great. Like that, it was something that was like, so if you don't build a product that is fit for user needs, then it can be very detrimental for your branding and your company in itself. And
absolutely.
one other thing that I always say is like, what research has shown that testing and speaking to users, only 5 users can solve about 85% of any usability problems. So if you're not engaging in user research, then you're very much missing out on something that can, missing out on building a product that can really help your users' experience.
Absolutely, you're so right, because even in NHS they have, different types of equipments for patients, and sometimes it doesn't really kind of support dark skin. And so
Yeah.
yes, a lot of research needs to go into stuff like that, which is very crucial. I totally definitely agree with you for sure. Absolutely. So, in terms of your organization empowering the next generation, which is the Tech 432, and it's all about helping young people who are, from the underrepresented background to enter into tech. So, what are some of the key barriers that they face, and how does your organization help them to break through?
Yeah, so um, I think this is again a great question. What
Yeah.
we do and how we support people, we do it in very much different layers. One thing I did want to describe is what Tech 432 does. So we
Yes.
do workshops to upskill young underrepresented talent. We do community-based workshops as well, where we often get young people in front of role models or mentors to help inspire the young people to dream big. Um, and as well as that, what we also do is help with the users, with the young people, and understanding any barriers that they may face. And how we help them break through is helping with the lack of access and exposure. So many underrepresented groups don't necessarily have networks or role models of tech, and this makes it harder for them to navigate their career path. Um, what we also do, we provide mentorship, industry connections, and career guidance to help bridge this gap. I did notice Hannah's just briefly dropped. But for those of you who are listening as well, it's just I'll just keep on answering the
I'm
question
still
around.
here. I'm just giving you the
Okay,
stage to shine.
okay. No worries. I was like, I wasn't sure.
Carry on. We're enjoying listening to you. You're the star
Thank
of the
you.
show.
um, with the young people as well, some of the barriers that they are faced is like limited opportunities. So
Mm,
sometimes it's not even them. So there's biased recruitment practices. Sometimes they
yeah.
can see your name and be like, oh, no, we don't want this person here, or we don't want it to be a diversity hire. These things can create obstacles for young people getting into tech. Some organizations offer unpaid internships. For some of us, from a social mobility perspective, we want to earn income, and it's super important for us. So we have to forfeit income for the experience, but that could be really challenging for some of our environments as well. So some of the
Yes.
things we do, or anything that we do, is when we do workshops, we partner with organizations that are directly hiring. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be a case of us equipping the young people with skills and also like pushing them or steering them into these organizations that will pay them a good amount as well. Things that I can personally relate to as well is like imposter syndrome or confidence issues. So
Mm,
for me, like if when you come from a working class background, I don't know if there's anyone else that has
yeah.
experienced this, but I would struggle with self doubt. Sometimes I'd be in the room and I'm like, oh, I'm the only one here that's black. Like, like I feel just different in these
Yeah.
spaces. And I'm like, oh, these people were talking about what they did over the weekend. I never would be able to do that. Oh, I haven't done that before.
Mm,
So things like that are quite challenging. And
yes.
with Tech 432, we try and get the young people into these environments. So sometimes we get school kids into these corporate spaces to make them feel more comfortable in these spaces and feel like they have a supportive community and that they can see people that look like them as well.
Definitely.
Um, Other things that are barriers as well are something I alluded to earlier around financial barriers, around
Mm-hmm.
expensive courses, getting those certifications. It's challenging if you don't have the money to get that.
Yeah.
So because of that, that then is a barrier to entry and it limits your essential learning. And one of the things we try and do at Tech 432 is offer free resources that are available. We do upskilling sessions that are completely free. So you can learn
Mm,
about Python or you can learn about Shopify. Like we are trying to offer courses that are free to reduce again that barrier to entry and make people consider that these careers could be for them. We do upskilling sessions, coaching sessions around that, and I've, like, for example, done a session on UX research just in case with Coding Black Females, just in case anyone is interested in learning about UX research. Like, we try and reduce those barriers for courses or certifications.
Mm.
Um, Another few things, I don't want to wrestle on too much about it, but it was around um, there's like unique challenges that some of our groups, community groups face. So, for example, with young Black boys specifically,
Yeah.
they're more likely to be excluded from schools. They're more likely to be or end up in pupil referral units. And that just kind of doesn't set the tone right for like their academic or educational outcomes.
Yeah.
And it can result in them feeling like, say, they are kind of like an isolated or an abandoned group. And I feel like that is something that people often forget as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that there are challenges that are facing young Black boys, and as I mentioned earlier as well, there's the challenges of employment as well, with them
Yes.
being 4 times more likely to be unemployed
Mm-hmm.
as they graduate. So why sometimes we do specific workshops with young Black boys is because we know that there's challenges that they're facing that are different to us, maybe us as Black women, you know. So
Mm.
it's like carefully created workshops for young Black boys so that they get the exposure to role models,
Yes.
to learning about like different careers that exist. We engage with them before they are like excluded or they become excluded from schools, because it's like, no, they have a future. Like, let's not let our
Yes.
biases mean that they can't have a future. So
Mm.
we engage with them to ensure that they know they have a future and that they
Yeah.
can be anything that they want to be, and really like draw heavy on that because of the role models we get. We're like, no, you can be anything that you want to be, and please don't let
Absolutely.
schools do that to you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, thank you so much. So, if you're still joining us for this wonderful program, I just want to just let you know the wonderful Queen, Yetunde, she's here. She's the tech professional. She's the founder of Tech 432, and she's been talking all about, a journey into tech, how she's supporting young people, and also her experiences. So, there's quite a lot of things to learn today from this wonderful Queen today. So, we just want to continue to really find out how she's been able to step into her power and become the very best version of herself. And so she's been talking about helping young people and also supporting people into tech, which is really incredible. And so, one of the other questions that I want to also ask you is about mentorship. You strike me as a great mentor, and you have been mentoring young people as well, and also those who are interested in becoming, tech professionals. And so, tell us a little bit more in terms of your mentorship. So, when it comes to mentorship and social mobility, I believe that you are definitely a strong advocate in this great platform. And so, can you share a success story where mentorship played a very crucial role in transforming someone's career?
Yes, absolutely. So, one that I love to share as an example or as a win is one of the young boys that we mentored. So, he found his desired career after mentorship with us. So,
Hmm.
this young person, he had graduated from university
Yeah.
and had experienced a lot of rejections from universities, wasn't sure about what was going on. Why
Mm.
isn't his applications going through? What are his challenges? Like, another thing that he was unsure about was his career path as well. He said he studied one thing, but he had interest in other things. So he was just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And over the time of just the course of mentoring him for a few months, we went through what we feel like his skills are, his strengths, what are his positives. Like, what do you things that you wake up in the morning and you look forward to doing? Like,
Yeah.
where do you see yourself going or heading towards? Do you want to lead in this area, or is it just you want little experience? So I was able to build a rapport with this young person, and we'd connect like in the evenings once a week, just
Mm.
talking around like his career and what his future would look like. And it happened maybe, I think, after 2 months or so. I gave him support with his CV as well and cover
Mm.
letter. And then I think, yeah, within that like 2 months or so, he came with like really good news that he had found an opportunity that he'd really been looking for. And
Wow.
I think for me, that's like an amazing thing. I was like, yes, okay, it shows like just if
Yeah.
you just get the right guidance and support, you can get into these spaces, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you don't know. So
So true.
it's like, how do you know? You just have to speak to people, get like mentorship or support, and you can find your way. So I feel like that was a really important thing and a lovely story. And one other story that I love was just the one around community.
Yeah.
It didn't necessarily transform this young person's career, but I saw the effect of a big change. So we'd done a workshop around mid last year for young boys in a school in Hackney,
Mm.
and one of the young boys, he's really quiet, um, but he would also always be on time, like ready for lessons and just ready to like. He changed a lot, so his character wasn't like that before, but he changed in a positive way.
Yeah.
And we did a workshop and we had a celebrity barber called Mark McIver, Slider Cuts, come in. And um, during that session, Slider Cuts shared his story about where he grew up, the challenges he faced,
Mm.
and the importance of like knowing your own path and not necessarily getting involved in any of the activities that are happening in the local area, like just working hard and just being the best version of yourself. And luckily, so the young boy, he won a free haircut by the celebrity barber, which was really amazing. And something that that was, I don't know why, it just stood out for us because when he came to get
Mm.
his celebrity haircut, he was saying that he felt 500 over 10, and that he one day wants to come into the school as well and do that for young people.
That's
So that was
amazing.
a really amazing moment because it just, I saw the effects of, it's like a butterfly effect, doing one thing can then lead to something else, to lead to something else, and you never know who you're impacting. So that was a real positive thing
Absolutely.
of like mentorship.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Two powerful young men who have actually experienced what it's like to be part of your network. And it's just amazing just to hear the transformation, to hear the success stories, the impact that you're making. It's truly remarkable what you're doing to really change the lives of young people. And what really struck me about what you said is that sometimes, young people, they do sort of get themselves into trouble, but you guys are there before they get to a place whereby they're referred. You're able to help and to support them, to let them see how they can become a better person, and to really focus on achieving what their heart desires, and to follow their dreams and their passion, which is very important. Because sometimes a lot of young people, they do kind of get misled
Mhm.
and they follow the wrong path. And so I
Mhm.
feel like your social enterprise is doing such an amazing thing to help young people, to get them back on track, so that they can actually see that there is more to life than going into the wrong direction. So that is really commendable. You are there to basically find the solutions, which is awesome. So well done to you and your team. And what do you really enjoy most about being a founder? You've had this vision in your mind for so long and you've given birth to it. So what is it that really kind of um, what motivates you, Yetunde? What is it that drives you?
I love this question because it has to go back to the source, which is God. Like, I feel like God
Mm,
places things on our hearts for a reason,
yeah.
and it's up to you as like a person who follows God to decide whether you can like. Sometimes we feel like we're not fit to do something, but if God
Right.
has placed it in your heart, I really do
Mm,
believe it's for a reason and for a purpose.
sure.
It's something that I have always felt a desire to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it always reminds me that what you go through in life is not in vain.
Mm,
Like, there's a reason why you may have experienced certain things. And if you can use your life as a way in supporting or helping others, then I feel
Yes.
like that's motivation enough. So to be honest, what motivates me, yeah, is God. I feel like if I'm not doing this, then I'm not being used by God for this particular situation.
Mm,
Like God has specifically put this in my heart to help people. So I must do that, you know. I want to do that. Like it's my purpose. What I love about it is purpose. And often I felt like I didn't know what I was doing here in life. Like,
mm,
what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to help people? Like
yeah.
how? So it's like God has literally directed that for me, placed it in my heart for a reason. And now I
Mm,
must, as a person who wants to honor God and like all of us as his children, I
yeah.
must do that. So yeah, I feel like that's my motivation. And you can see it with the stuff that you do as well. Like I always want to give you your flowers as well, because
Thank
you give
you.
people their
I'm
flowers. But
accepting them. I'm accepting them.
yeah, please, because I remember when we was at the We Are the City Rising Star Awards, and
Oh yes,
you
so true. Yeah.
you spoke, and oh my gosh, the whole room kind of like lifted. It penetrated my heart in the sense that I was like the reasons why we're here are for a reason. It can speak to that one person. You never know. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's
Absolutely.
just yeah, take me in.
Yeah, so true. And I think that was really kind of what made us connect together.
Yeah.
I saw how determined you were, how focused you were, and how empowered you were after I had sort of finished speaking to a multitude of great women in the audience. And it was just amazing just to see how much just a story can just impact the life of so many people. And it was just incredible that we were able to connect. And I'm glad that you are on this show today, because what you're doing is incredible and I absolutely love it, and it's needed as well. So I'm so proud of you. I just see you as my little sister, to be honest. Honestly, just admire you. So just keep going and keep doing what you're doing. You're just amazing. Keep focused, be intentional, and just continue to stand and stay in your lane, because that is where you've been called to be. That's where you've been called to serve, and you're shining. You're slaying and you're dominating in your lane. And that is just incredible. So I look forward to seeing you at the top. And
Thank
that's where you
you.
belong, to be quite honest. The very best version of yourself is where you're going to be, and there's still more greatness coming for you. And I believe it, and I see, and I like that you're a woman of faith as well, which is amazing. So we are very much aligned together, which is awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that journey with us. So let's talk about advice and
Yeah.
in terms of advice for aspiring tech professionals. Someone is looking at you tonight, Yetunde, and they are truly just inspired by your story, your journey, what you've shared so far. And, they want to actually break into tech, but they feel overwhelmed. They are also
Mhm.
going through imposter syndrome, just like what you said. Some of them are actually lacking confidence. So,
Mhm.
what actions, or let's say actionable steps, would you
Yeah.
recommend that they take today?
Yeah. So yeah, I speak to this because this is something I experienced. So aspiring and going into tech, it initially feels very daunting and overwhelming, like you said. But like
Mm,
taking small steps and consistent steps will help you with getting into tech. So some
yeah,
of the things that I recommend, or actionable steps to get started. So the first thing I would say to myself if I was going into this is explore different roles. That's
yes,
the one myth I just want to demystify. Tech is more than coding. So you can be literally anything in tech, okay, within reason. So like UX research is a career option. Do you like user experience design? Do you like research? Like consider those different opportunities. Cybersecurity. Do you care about ensuring that people and like GDPR and things like that are kept safe?
yes.
Do you like managing like the different risks that come with cybersecurity? Is that of
Mm,
interest? That's also in tech. Data, are you a data person? Do you like analyzing things? Like consider if that's something that you want to pursue. Product management, are you interested in products and services? Like you don't necessarily need to be the most technical to work in tech. So I would say explore the different roles and opportunities that exist within tech first and foremost.
yes.
Second thing is once you've got a view of what
Hmm.
the roles are and
Yeah.
what exists. I would say start learning for free. There are so many different platforms that exist that I don't think people are aware of, that offer free courses. Things like Coursera, Udemy, sorry, Free Code
Hmm.
Camp, YouTube, Coding Black Females. They do courses there. I think on web design, things like that. The Prince's Trust as well, the King's Trust, sorry. They do courses on like UX design. There's people you can follow as well to find out about the free courses that exist, even some from the government as well. And
Mm.
some pay you to learn as well. There are sort of like mini apprenticeships you can take or mini internships you can take. There are
Yes.
courses that exist for free and they can get you into your foot into the door. So I would say that like explore the courses that exist, and if people need some resources and whatnot, I'm happy to like send them across as well. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you. So,
there's
how do
so
people
many.
get in touch with you in terms of your social media platforms or even a website where they can actually access this information and resources that you've just shared?
Yeah, so people feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, or if not on LinkedIn, we have a Tech432 page on Instagram. It's Tech432 .uk on Instagram.
Hmm.
And yeah, you can reach out to me on that page or LinkedIn as well. We're at Tech432 .uk as well. Those are the best places to reach me, either LinkedIn. We're still in the process of building a website just yet.
Take your
Yeah, I
time.
think yeah. It's like we want to do a good website, and yeah, the name, I
Yeah,
love the name, but like I want to make sure that it's something that we're sticking to, and like it's yeah, before building the website, we're
absolutely.
investing a lot.
Yeah.
Um, as I was just gonna add as well,
Hmm.
there are other things that can exist. So, like community groups as well that are super helpful if
Yes.
people want to get access to resources. And I'm not one to gatekeep. I love that we're all doing different things within tech and trying to help the next generation. So, there's women's groups, Black women groups as well, like GTA Black Women in Tech, which provide networking opportunities, mentorship as well. I mentioned Code and Black Females. That's a great organization that offer free courses, and they sometimes have a careers fair as well. And there's Black Girls in Tech. They do a lot of work around supporting young Black women that want to get into tech as well.
Fantastic. Excellent. Those are wonderful information for our guests who are listening to us today. So do take action and go and follow Tech 432. So, as we sort of come to the end of our, podcast, I just want to say thank you so much to you, Yetunde. And also just wanted to ask you about what's next, really, the future of Tech 432 and your vision. What's next and what does that look like? And what impact do you hope to make, as you continue to be the founder of this organization within the tech industry?
Yeah. Again, I love this question, and I love it
Mhm.
because it keeps me accountable as well. So I
Yeah.
feel like I have to do these things to, hold myself accountable to this vision over the next
Absolutely.
5 years. So far, we've been able to reach and impact 250 young people. Our aim
Amazing.
is to impact more young people. So we want to get into the thousands as well.
Hmm.
We want to scale our workshops and mentorship programs so it impacts more people.
Hmm.
Often, this like when you're a founder, it's a lot of pressure on
Hmm.
you as a founder to do so many different things, but you're only one person, so expansion needs to be something that we're working towards. So I would love another version of me inside these different areas within the UK, expanding our workshops, scaling them, building mentorship programs.
Mm.
Want to partner with more companies as well, these tech firms, more hiring managers, investors, people who are willing to invest in these young people and believe in these young people as well. So, if there's any way we can and secure more internships for these young people, that'll be great. Providing opportunities for underrepresented talent, then I feel like that's a win for us over the next 5 years. So, more opportunities, more partnerships. Um,
Mm.
I'd love for it to be a self-sustaining model as well. So in a
Yes.
way in which we can develop revenue streams to fund our programs. A lot of the things that have been funded by myself. So it's a way I'd love for us to find a way that's we're funded and it's self-sustaining and it's generating as a social enterprise properly. And if we can like go global, there are
Yes.
so many opportunities that are and so when I say so many opportunities, there's so many opportunities of impact. Like we can really help young people and provide opportunities to empower them and support them for their
Mm,
futures. And it doesn't matter if it's just in the UK, like I think we can do that across the world globally. And
absolutely.
yeah, ideally, hopefully, advocate for more change in the
Hmm.
hiring processes as well. How
Yeah.
can we make opportunities more accessible for the young people,
Mm,
whether it be in schools? Like, what can we be doing more there? Make it more inclusive at all levels, so that these young people see opportunities and see that their future could be in tech as well.
absolutely incredible. So, for those of you who are listening, if there is opportunity for you to collaborate and partner with Yetunde, please do reach out to her. All the information is definitely there on our show notes as well. Do reach out and connect and collaborate with her. Thank you so much, Yetunde. It's just a pleasure to have you on the show. And we have sort of one or two questions, but just before that, we'll go for just a short break and we'll be back shortly. So stay tuned.
Thank
Are you ready to birth your vision? Do you have a vision to become a founder, entrepreneur, change maker, a creative, or even a community builder, but you feel stuck due to lack of clarity and confidence? Let me tell you something. It's that time of the year. We are hosting the Birth Your Vision Masterclass. It's time to step into your power. So join us on the Birth Your Vision Masterclass, a transformative experience designed to help you gain crystal clear clarity on your vision, overcome fear and self doubt, create actionable plans to bring your vision to life, as well as you're going to get to meet other vendors as well as speakers and connect with like minded visionaries and leaders. So, your vision is waiting. Are you ready to birth it? Join us on the 22nd of February. And the link will be here. So make sure that you click it and also tag a fellow visionary who needs to be there. So see you. And I look forward to helping you to birth your vision this year. Thank you. Okay. So thank you, ladies. We are back. So Yetunde, I was just asking about what tips would you give, a final tip for anyone watching us tonight?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So my final tip is okay, it's around us women. I know this is like women. So I heard this thing where it's like women will only apply to jobs if they meet like if there's a checklist of 10, they have to meet all 10 or at least 8 or 9 before they apply.
Hmm.
Um Whereas men, it's only like 4 or 5 and then they might apply. And I say this as someone that loves us women and sees our capabilities. Like, I say apply to any role, even if you don't feel ready. Like that,
Hmm.
I think that's so important. Just put yourself in there. Sorry, put yourself out there so
Yeah.
that you can have like these opportunities. Like, don't limit yourself before someone has already limited you. Like, sometimes we limit ourselves before that. And then the second thing is just sorry, I know it's only one, but the second thing was just around us. Like, if there is a vision or purpose that you have in your life and you feel like you've been called to do it, I'd
Mm,
say really walk in faith and just do it. Like, what is
absolutely.
there to lose? Please don't let fear stop you from pursuing the things
Mm,
that you've been called and have been laid on your heart. Like you can achieve and do so much. Don't
yes.
limit yourself before Others have don't do it before anyone else has done it before you. So don't
Mm,
just trust yourself, believe that if you've been called to do it, you can do it. And if you don't feel like you can do it, just know that God will give you the tools to succeed in this because he's based it in your
absolutely.
heart. Yeah.
Definitely. Or actually, just join us on the 22nd of February as we
Yeah.
host the Birth Your Vision Masterclass, where we actually hold your hand and give you clarity. Because some people are called to be founders, entrepreneurs, community builders, to be leaders, to serve. So, in whatever capacity that you feel you've been called to serve and you are carrying a vision, you are a vision carrier, a visionary, and you've had this idea in your heart for so long and you are struggling with clarity and confidence to give it life, we would like to invite you to come and join us so that you can actually be someone like the wonderful founder, Yetunde, who has given birth to her vision and she's able to share it on this platform today. So I want to say thank you so much once again to all our viewers who have been watching us today. Do follow Yetunde and also support the work that she's doing. She's doing an amazing work to help young people who are from underrepresented backgrounds. Anyone who's interested in tech, she is your queen and she has a fantastic team. And so she'll be able to guide you and give you all the support and the resources that you need. So lastly, Yetunde, how has it been being a guest on the Birth Your Vision podcast?
I'll say it's as one of my mentees said, 500 out of 10. It's been amazing. It's been
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much
much.
for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I'm glad we were able to come together and definitely have a great conversation. Thank you so much for sharing those tips and strategies and those gems. There is so much to unpack from this wonderful podcast today. So, thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. It's amazing just to continue to host this wonderful platform. And I look forward to hosting more of these very soon. We are heading into International Women's Month in March. There's going to be lots of exciting guests. And also in February, we're going to be having more guests where they're going to be sharing their journey, their challenges, their success stories on how they've been able to give birth to their vision. And so, like I said before, we have an upcoming event coming on the 22nd of February. Do register and join us. Birth Your Vision Masterclass is going to be a transformative opportunity for you to actually design and map out your vision. And so come and gain clarity, meet other like-minded people just like yourself, and let's give birth to your dream. Because why? You hold the world, your dream, and it's about you giving birth to that dream and making an impact. And so on that note, I just want to say, wow, what an insightful conversation with the wonderful Yetunde. Her journey from the tech professional to being a founder of Tech 432 is truly inspiring. And so I just love and I admire her passion for mentorship and also for social mobility, in making a real difference in the life of young people and also in the tech industry as well. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experiences with us today. And also to our listeners, if you've been inspired by Yetunde, please connect with her and also learn more about organization, the social enterprise Tech 432. Be sure to check out the links and also to see all the show notes for all the resources that's needed. And so if you've actually enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and also share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And so until next time, keep believing in your vision and start taking the steps to bring those visions to life. So see you on the next episode of Birth Your Vision podcast. Thank you, Yetunde, once again. Have a great evening. Thank you for being an amazing guest. And we will continue this conversation on the other side. Any last words to our audience as we wrap up?
The only thing I was going to say, please do go to the event on the 22nd of February. I know it'll be life changing. So, yeah, I'm telling you, when Hannah speaks to me, I feel just like uplifted and I can do
Thank
anything.
you.
So, I'd encourage everyone to go there if they can make it. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Have a great evening. Stay blessed. Thank you, Yetunde, once again. See you on the next episode, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.